Welcome to the Generation of Prayer podcast. My name is Ryan Ranney, the young adult pastor at Hope City in Fredericton, and I'm joined by Spenser Mason, the young adult pastor at Glad Tidings in Moncton, and Justin Allen, the young adult pastor at King's Church in St. John. Our heart is to see this generation of our region united in consecration, humbly and boldly seeking the face of God, being satisfied with nothing less than his manifest presence. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the podcast. Well, hey everyone, welcome to season 3 of the Generation of Prayer podcast. I'm here with the boys, Justin and Spenser. We're excited to get into season 3, which we've decided to entitle Unity. And we're going to kind of take a different turn than even the last 2 seasons, but really talk about contending for, in, and through unity. What does that look like, especially in our generation? So before we get into kind of our regular episodes, we like to start each season with an intro episode and either go through a question or just open up. And we were just kind of reflecting on, this is our 3rd season, and this isn't just a podcast for those that are the target audience. Obviously, anyone's welcome. But if you have been a part of our regional gatherings, we've had 2 regional gatherings within the last few months of starting Generation of Prayer. And we were just chatting in our own like praise reports, things God's been doing, things we've been seeing him do in the context of prayer. So we're just going to have a little discussion about that before we get into kind of our regular episodes talking all about unity. So for the boys here, how have you been seeing God work locally and regionally through Generation of Prayer? I'll just tee it up. We'll chat about it for a few minutes.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm going to respond to that in a little bit of a different way. And it's just simply the unity that's brought even between the 3 of us. Mm-hmm. And I don't say that to exclude our communities. I say that to say, like, when leadership is in unity with one another and there's like a camaraderie there, that filters down through our communities. And so, you know, we've done different events together before in the past and so on. But I just feel like this year with doing the podcast, doing these events together, it's brought the 3 of us closer, united us in prayer.
Yeah.
And that just naturally just spills into our communities as well. And so it does really have to start from the top up in relation to prayer, creating a culture of prayer. Mm-hmm. And the 3 of us being able to do this together, I just feel like has been such a blessing to our communities because we're walking that out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel the same way. And I know for me, it's been a blessing. And I know that I've heard from our communities that it's been a blessing to them. It's like, I think what's happened is they really are now beginning to see that they're connected to something bigger than just their little, like a small group or even the local community within the city. Mm-hmm. What I've loved is to notice when they're showing up at the events, how it doesn't feel like 3 communities anymore.
Yeah.
It really has this sense of like, oh, like this is one community. This is one generation. It does really have that sort of, oneness.
Yeah.
That maybe wasn't there at the beginning.
Yeah.
And so I think that's for me, like seeing the fruit of the events is like, oh yeah, we really are coming together. Mm-hmm. And it is really cool to watch.
Yeah, I would speak even to your point, Spenser. I think when God was birthing prayer in my heart, it was after our annual young adult retreat, not this past year, but the year before. And I'm just like looking back on the faithfulness of God. The month after, or like a month and a half after that retreat, you asked me to come speak at Nova. And I came, and literally just speaking, it had been a few years at that point of like attending each other's events and doing, like you said, some unity-based things. But that was the night for me that things shifted. You actually got up after I spoke and just called out in me, like, something shifted in you that I've just even in the last few months noticed. And I look back even from that night and other nights, and yeah, it doesn't feel like, oh, some young adults from Fredericton are going to St. John or going to Moncton to attend an event. It feels way more unified. And I think prayer has been the linchpin for that. Yeah. I think that there's been this hunger and desire. Even the gatherings, they're intentionally curated, the last 2 regional gatherings, like on our hearts, not to just be something that you feel like you can come and attend. But I see our communities praying together. Like you just look in and it doesn't look operationally any different or even socially any different than just like a local gathering we'd have. It feels so organic and not all these pockets of people.
Yeah.
And I think it's just been the top down.
Yeah. And there's something about prayer too that has the ability to bring unity in just a deeper way, because even, praying with somebody, like obviously there's that spiritual connection that happens, but it's kind of a vulnerable thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like praying with somebody else, like there's a vulnerability in that, and in vulnerability is what breeds connection so well.
Yeah.
And so that's like, even outside of Generation of Prayer, even, at the retreats that we do during the ministry time, when somebody from one community goes up to receive prayer from somebody from another community, there's a vulnerability there. You're sharing, what's going on in your heart, and you're partnering in prayer with them. And that just has such a tangible way of bringing people together.
Yeah. I think even through Generation of Prayer, what God has kind of been burning in all three of our hearts over our local communities, a core value for our community is prayer. And we believe in the power of prayer, convinced that nothing happens apart from his presence. And for the last year, it's like I've been nailing that home and preaching that. But I genuinely believe, like, through even these gatherings and hearing the traction and the input from our local community about the podcast, sometimes you record these things and you're like, is this just going to fall, or is this just going to be a random audience? Again, not that anyone listening is a bad thing, but just people coming up to me and like talking about it and being encouraged by it. It's like, wow, I think that for my community alone, and this is what I've been hearing from you guys, it's like, it's not just a core value on a poster or on an Instagram post or something you preach from the front. Like, I'm seeing that like in their hearts coming out, like they believe in the power of prayer. They're showing up to these things excited, which I know, Justin, you've said this, like, my favorite thing is our heart that in Generation of Prayer, the most well-attended events in our region would be prayer gatherings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think we're starting to see that, the heart for that. And I think God's just going to continue to bring the fruit of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Really good. Well, guys, we are excited to get into this season. And Spenser, why don't you just kind of outro us here, and we'll get ready for our first episode.
Yeah, 100%. We are excited to jump in to the first episode coming up. But we just want to thank you for joining us on Generation of Prayer podcast. If you are a young adult in the Maritimes looking for Christian community, reach out to one of us. You can find our emails in the episode description. And remember that we are having our third regional Generation of Prayer event on Saturday, November 15th in Fredericton, hosted by Ryan in Hope City. We'd love for you to join us. You can get the time and specific location details by registering for the event through the link, which is also in the episode description. So stay stirred. Peace be with you.